My dear friend, let me start with something interesting. Have you ever wondered why sometimes, no matter how kind you are, people still walk all over you? You give them your time, your energy, even your heart, and instead of respecting you, they treat you like you don't matter. It feels confusing, right? Because we are taught from childhood that kindness is always good. But here's the truth. Not all kindness leads to respect. In fact, some kinds of kindness can make people lose respect for you instantly. This is why you must learn the difference between healthy kindness and weak kindness. Healthy kindness earns respect. Weak kindness invites disrespect. In today's lesson, I will share with you 6 acts of kindness that secretly make people disrespect you. These lessons are very important for your personal growth, your relationships, and even your success in life. If you stay with me until the end, you will not only understand why this happens, but you will also learn how to be strong, respected, and truly kind in the right way. So let us begin. Act of kindness 1. Always saying yes. We all want to help others. Deep inside, every human heart carries a natural desire to be kind, to support, and to bring comfort to the people around us. And this is a good thing. Kindness is one of the most powerful forces in the world. But sometimes, when we do not understand the balance of kindness, it can quietly turn against us. One of the most dangerous habits is the act of always saying yes. At first, it feels like the right thing to do. But slowly, without noticing, it begins to harm you. Imagine this simple picture. A friend calls you one evening and asks if you can help them move some heavy boxes. You are tired, but you do not want to disappoint them, so you say yes. The next week, the same friend asks if you can do their homework or stay late to fix a project for them. You are busy, but again, you say yes. Later, another person asks you to lend them money and you agree, even though you need it yourself. Over time, the word yes comes from your mouth before you even think. It becomes automatic. At first, people are thankful. They smile, they say thank you, they appreciate your help. But soon something begins to change. Your yes loses its meaning. It stops being special. It is no longer seen as an act of generosity. It is expected. And when something is expected, it is not valued. What was once kindness slowly becomes invisible. Even worse, when you always say yes, people may start to see you as weak. They stop respecting your time, your feelings, and your needs. They may not even realize it, but in their minds, you become someone who is always available, always ready to serve, always willing to give up your own comfort. Instead of seeing you as a friend, they see you as a tool. The truth is this. The problem is not your kind heart. The problem is that you forget your own limits. You forget that your time, your energy, and your life are valuable too. Saying yes without boundaries is like opening your front door and letting everyone walk into your house anytime they want. At first, it feels generous, but soon your home is no longer yours. You lose peace, privacy, and respect. Think of nature. A strong tree stands tall because it knows when to bend and when to stay firm. If a tree bends every time the wind blows, sooner or later, it will break. The same is true for you. If you say yes to every request, every demand, every pressure, your inner strength begins to break. You may start to feel tired, empty, resentful, or even lost. Let me share a small truth. Saying no is also an act of kindness, but this kindness is directed toward yourself. When you say no, you protect your time, your dreams, your health, and your energy. This protection allows you to stay strong, and when you are strong, you can help others even better. Think about the people you respect the most. Do they say yes to everything? Number. They choose carefully. They respect their own boundaries. And that is why when they say yes, it has power. It carries meaning. People know their yes comes from a place of choice, not from fear of rejection or desire to please. So how can you learn to say no with respect? First, understand that no does not mean you are selfish or rude. It means you are real. You are honest about what you can give and what you cannot. You can say it politely. I would love to help, but I am busy right now. Or, I care about you, but I cannot do this today. Notice that you are not rejecting the person. You are simply protecting your boundary. Second, remember that every time you say yes to someone, you are also saying no to something else, often to yourself. If you always say yes to others, you may be saying no to your own rest, your own goals, your own dreams. Ask yourself, is this yes healthy for me? Or is it destroying my balance? Finally, trust this truth. People will respect you more when you respect yourself. At first, some people may be surprised, even disappointed when you begin to say no. But in time, they will value your words more. They will know that when you say yes, it is real. And real kindness, not forced kindness, is what truly inspires respect. So my dear friend, remember, always saying yes does not make you kind, it makes you weak. But saying yes wisely and saying no when needed makes you strong. And when kindness is connected to strength, it becomes powerful. That is the kind of kindness the world needs from you. Act of kindness 2. Forgiving too quickly. Forgiveness is one of the most beautiful acts of the human heart. It can heal pain, restore peace, and create new beginnings. When you forgive someone, you free yourself from the heavy weight of anger, bitterness, and revenge. Forgiveness is not only a gift to the other person, it is also a gift to yourself. But here is the problem. Sometimes we forgive too quickly, and when that happens, instead of building respect, our forgiveness can make people lose respect for us. Imagine this situation. A friend lies to you. It hurts, but you do not want to lose the friendship. So, without even talking about it, you say, "It's fine, I forgive you." Your friend feels relieved, but inside their mind, they also think, "Oh, that was easy. I didn't have to explain. I didn't have to apologize. Next time, I can do it again, and it will not be a problem." In this way, your quick forgiveness becomes a free ticket for repeated disrespect. This is why we must understand an important truth. Forgiveness should not be cheap. Cheap forgiveness has no value because it asks nothing in return. It does not invite responsibility. It does not inspire change. When you forgive too quickly, people do not learn from their mistakes. They simply continue to behave the same way because they know there will be no consequences. True forgiveness is not about ignoring pain. It is about recognizing the pain, respecting yourself, and then deciding to let go of the anger while still expecting growth. If you forgive someone without giving them a chance to face their actions, you are not really helping them. You are actually making it easier for them to keep repeating the same behavior. Think of it like this. A teacher gives a student a test. The student cheats. The teacher finds out but says nothing and lets the student pass. The student feels lucky. But the student also learns a dangerous lesson. Cheating has no consequence. So the student cheats again. On the outside, it may look like forgiveness, but in reality, it is permission. In the same way, when we forgive too quickly, we are not teaching others to respect us or themselves. We are teaching them that they can hurt us without consequence. And once this cycle begins, it becomes very hard to stop. People begin to see us as someone who will accept anything, no matter how unfair or disrespectful. Our forgiveness, which was meant as kindness, is now misunderstood as weakness. But let me make something clear. This does not mean you should never forgive. Forgiveness is still powerful and necessary. What it means is that forgiveness must be wise. Forgiveness must have boundaries. A person should feel the weight of their actions before receiving the gift of forgiveness. For example, if someone lies to you, do not just say, "It's fine." Instead, let them know how it made you feel. Say, "I felt hurt when you lied." Let them see the impact of their choice. Then, if they show real regret and try to change, you can forgive. But this time, forgiveness has meaning. It has value. It is not cheap. It is precious. This approach also protects your own heart. If you forgive too quickly, you may start to feel resentment later. You may say the words, "I forgive you," but deep inside, the wound is still open. Over time, this hidden pain can grow, and it can poison your heart. But when you forgive wisely, when you allow space for responsibility, your heart feels truly free. Remember this principle. Your heart can be soft, but your boundaries must be strong. You can forgive, but you do not have to allow people to keep repeating the same mistakes. Forgiveness does not mean you must stay close to the person who hurt you. It does not mean you must trust them immediately. Trust is earned. Forgiveness is given. These are two different things. When you practice strong forgiveness, you send a powerful message. I am kind, but I am not weak. I am forgiving, but I also expect respect. And when people see this, they respect you more. They realize your forgiveness is a gift, not a guarantee. They understand that to be close to you, they must be honest, responsible, and willing to grow. So, my dear friend, do not let your forgiveness become cheap. Do not let it turn into a free pass for disrespect. Forgive, but forgive wisely. Let people earn your forgiveness with changed behavior, not just with empty words. That way, your kindness will not invite more pain. It will inspire real growth, both in you and in them. Because true forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook. It is about giving them a chance to rise, to change, and to become better. And that is the kind of forgiveness that brings peace, respect, and true healing. Act of Kindness 3. Always putting others first. From the time we are young, many of us are taught that being selfless is a great virtue. We admire people who give, who sacrifice, who put the needs of others before their own. Stories of heroes often tell us that greatness comes from serving everyone else before yourself. And yes, there is truth in that. Kindness and generosity are powerful qualities. But here is the hidden danger. When you always put others first, when you never value your own needs, you send a silent message to the world. The message is, my needs do not matter. And once people believe your needs do not matter to you, they will also treat them as unimportant. Think of a simple example. You are sitting at a table with a plate of food. You are hungry, but instead of eating, you keep giving your food away. At first, people may say, "Wow, how kind of you." They may thank you and admire your generosity, but after some time, your giving becomes expected. They stop noticing your sacrifice. Instead of gratitude, They begin to take it for granted. And in the end, you are left with nothing, hungry, tired, and invisible. This is the trap of always putting others first. On the outside, it looks noble, but on the inside, it slowly empties you. The truth is this: you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you constantly give away your energy, your time, and your love without ever filling yourself, you will run out. And when you are empty, you cannot truly help anyone. Many people confuse self-care with selfishness, but they are not the same. Selfishness means only caring about yourself, ignoring the needs of others. Self-care means taking care of yourself so that you have the strength to also take care of others. Imagine a nurse who works long hours taking care of patients but never eats or rests. What happens? Eventually, the nurse becomes too weak to help anyone. In the same way, if you always put others first and never care for your own body, mind, and heart, you will break down. And when that happens, the very people you want to help will lose your support. Here's another truth. When you constantly ignore your own needs, people may begin to lose respect for you. They may not do this consciously, but in their minds, they start to think, if this person does not care about their own well-being, why should I? They may take advantage of your giving spirit, asking more and more from you, because they know you will never say no. Your kindness, which should inspire love and respect, begins to invite disrespect and even abuse. So what should you do instead? The answer is balance. You do not have to choose between yourself and others. You can choose both. Taking care of yourself does not mean you stop caring for others. In fact, when you protect your own health, happiness, and peace of mind, you are able to serve others even better. When you are strong, you can lift others higher. When you are rested, you can give more energy. When you are respected, your kindness carries greater value. Think of an oxygen mask on an airplane. Before takeoff, the safety instructions always say, "Put on your own mask first before helping others." Why? Because if you pass out from lack of oxygen, you cannot save anyone else. Life works in the same way. You must breathe first. You must be stable first. Only then can you give real support to the people around you. Here is a simple rule. Respect yourself the way you want others to respect you. Show people through your actions that your time matters, your energy matters, and your needs matter. When you do this, people will treat you with greater care. They will understand that your kindness is valuable, not endless. They will appreciate it more because they know it comes from choice, not from pressure. So, my dear friend, remember this. Always putting others first is not true kindness. True kindness is balanced. It is strong. It comes from a place of self-respect. Take care of yourself first, not because you are selfish, but because you want to give your best to the world. When people see that you respect yourself, they will respect you too. And your kindness will not make you invisible. It will make you powerful. Act of kindness 4. Avoiding conflict at all costs. Many people grow up believing that avoiding conflict is a sign of kindness. They think that if they stay quiet, if they never disagree, if they always go along with others, then everyone will like them. On the surface, it seems peaceful. No arguments, no tension, no fights. But here is the truth you must remember. Avoiding conflict does not bring respect. It brings disrespect. Why is this so? Because silence often looks like agreement. Imagine someone speaks harshly to you, insults you, or ignores your needs. You want to say something, but instead, you stay silent. To you, This silence feels like kindness, like you are keeping the peace. But to the other person, your silence communicates something different. It says, I accept this behavior. I have no problem with it. And once they believe that, they feel free to repeat the same behavior again and again. If someone disrespects you and you just smile, they assume you are okay with it. Over time, they stop respecting you. They begin to see you as someone who cannot or will not stand up for themselves. And when people think you have no voice, they start treating you as if you have no value. This is the hidden cost of avoiding conflict. You lose respect not only from others, but also from yourself. Now let me be clear. I am not saying you should fight with everyone. I am not saying you should argue loudly or create drama. That is not strength. That is chaos. What I am saying is that true kindness is not the absence of conflict. True kindness is honesty. It is having the courage to say, this is not okay, even when it feels uncomfortable. It is respecting yourself enough to speak the truth and respecting others enough to tell them when their behavior is hurtful or unfair. Think about it like this. Imagine a parent who never corrects their child. The child makes mistakes, behaves badly, and hurts others, but the parent says nothing. At first, it looks like kindness, but in reality, it is not. Because the child grows up without guidance, without discipline, and without respect for boundaries. In the end, that child suffers more. The same happens in our relationships. If we never speak up, if we avoid every conflict, we are not helping anyone. We are allowing unhealthy behavior to grow. Even nature teaches us this lesson. Lions are calm, powerful creatures. They do not roar all the time. But when they need to protect themselves, their pride, or their territory, they roar with strength. That roar sends a clear message. Do not cross this line. If lions stayed silent forever, the world would forget their power. In the same way, if you never raise your voice when you are disrespected, the world will forget that you have power too. Standing up for yourself does not mean being rude. You can speak with calmness. You can speak with respect. But you must speak. For example, if someone interrupts you repeatedly, instead of staying silent, you can politely say, I would like to finish my thought. If someone makes a hurtful joke, you can say, that comment was not funny to me. These small but firm responses show others that you have boundaries. And when you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. Avoiding conflict at all costs may keep the surface calm, but underneath, resentment grows. You feel hurt but cannot express it. You feel used but cannot say no. You smile on the outside, but inside you are angry or sad. This is not true peace. This is silent suffering. And silent suffering eventually destroys your confidence and happiness. Real peace comes from honesty. Real respect comes from courage. When you dare to speak your truth with respect, people may not always agree, but they will respect you. They will see that your kindness is not weakness. They will understand that you are strong enough to love others, but also strong enough to love yourself. So, my dear friend, do not let your kindness turn into silence. Do not think that avoiding conflict will make people love you more. In reality, it will make them respect you less. Remember the lion, silent most of the time, but never afraid to roar when necessary. You too must find your roar. Stand up for yourself, and you will find that your voice commands respect, and your kindness shines even brighter. Act of Kindness 5. Giving without limits. Giving is one of the most beautiful expressions of kindness. It shows generosity, love, and compassion. When you give your time, your resources, or your support to someone, you are sharing a piece of yourself. You are saying, I care about you. I want to help you. And this is a noble thing. But here is the hidden danger. When you give without limits, when you give without wisdom, people can stop respecting you. They stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as a tool, a resource, or a machine that will always provide. Think of yourself as a well full of water. A well gives life. It refreshes the thirsty. It brings comfort to those who need it. But if too many people come and draw water without pause, if you never allow time for rain to refill you, the well will run dry. And here is the painful truth. When your well is empty, many people will not stay to dig deeper or to refill it. They will simply walk away to find another well. You are left exhausted, drained, and sometimes even resentful. This happens in everyday life more than we realize. Perhaps you are always giving money to friends or relatives who never try to stand on their own feet. Perhaps you are always giving your time to people who call you day and night with their problems. But when you need someone to listen, no one answers. Or maybe you are always giving your energy at work, staying late, covering for others, saying yes to every request. But your boss or colleagues never appreciate you. They only expect more. Slowly, you become invisible. Your giving is no longer seen as generosity. It is seen as duty. This is why giving without limits can become dangerous. At first, people admire your kindness. But over time, they get used to it. They stop thanking you. They stop appreciating you. And in the worst cases, they begin to exploit you. They assume that you will always give, no matter what, so they take advantage. Your kindness becomes their opportunity, and instead of respect, you receive disrespect. So, what is the solution? It is not to stop giving. Giving is beautiful, and the world needs it. The solution is to give with wisdom and with balance. Before you give, ask yourself, do I have enough for myself? Will this act of giving leave me empty? Am I helping them grow, or am I only feeding their dependence? These questions protect both you and the person you are giving to, because true giving does not weaken, it strengthens. True giving is not about draining yourself dry. It is about sharing from your abundance, not from your emptiness. Think of it this way. When you travel on an airplane, the safety instructions always say, put on your own oxygen mask first before helping others. Why? Because if you cannot breathe, you cannot save anyone else. The same principle applies to life. You must protect your energy, your health, your finances, and your time, so that you can continue to give without breaking down. If you ignore this, you will collapse. And when you collapse, those same people you were helping may not be able or willing to lift you back up. Another important lesson is this: giving should be paired with boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors. They allow you to decide when to give, how much to give, and when to stop. If someone keeps taking but never gives back, you must learn to close the door. If someone keeps draining you emotionally without any effort to improve their own life, you must learn to say, I cannot do this anymore. That is not cruelty. It is wisdom. Because by protecting yourself, you are teaching others to respect your time, your effort, and your generosity. And here is the beauty of wise giving. When you give with boundaries, your kindness becomes stronger. People begin to value your help more. because they see that it comes from your choice, not from obligation. They know that when you give, it is meaningful. They cannot take it for granted. And that is when your giving inspires respect instead of disrespect. So remember this: you are like a well. You must allow yourself to refill. You must protect your waters. Give, but do not give until you are empty. Help, but do not help until you are broken. Support others, but do not forget to support yourself. When you give from a place of strength, people will not only benefit from your kindness, they will also respect you deeply for it. Act of kindness 6. Pleasing everyone. Out of all the hidden acts of kindness that bring disrespect, trying to please everyone is perhaps the most dangerous. On a surface, it looks good. It looks noble. You smile, you agree, you adjust yourself just to make people happy. You think that if everyone likes you, then you will be loved, respected, and valued. But here is the painful truth. Trying to please everyone does not bring you love. It brings you exhaustion. It does not bring respect. It brings disrespect. Because people respect authenticity, not desperation. Imagine this. You walk into a room with 10 people. One wants you to speak loudly, another wants you to speak softly. One wants you to sit down, another wants you to stand. One wants you to agree with their opinion, another demands you take the opposite side. If you try to please all 10 at the same time, what happens? You twist, you bend, you break. And in the end, none of them is truly pleased. Instead of looking at you as a strong, confident person, they see someone who has no center, no direction, no identity. And when people sense that you do not know who you are, they lose respect for you instantly. The truth is, people admire those who are clear about their values. They admire those who stand firm, even if others disagree. Think of the leaders, the teachers, or the role models you respect most. Do they please everyone? Number. In fact, many times they are criticized, attacked, or misunderstood. Yet people respect them because they stand for something. They live by principle, not by popularity. Their strength is in their authenticity, not in their approval ratings. When you try to please everyone, you slowly lose yourself. You begin to say yes when you want to say no. You begin to laugh when you want to be silent. You begin to agree with things that go against your heart, just so people will like you. But inside, you feel small. You feel fake. And worst of all, you feel invisible. Because the more you change yourself for others, the less of yourself remains. One day, you look in the mirror and you don't even know who you are anymore. Here is something important to remember. Not everyone is meant to like you. And that is perfectly fine. Even the most loved, kind, generous people in history had enemies. Even the most inspiring leaders had critics. So why should you, an ordinary human, expect that you can make everyone happy? You cannot. And you should not even try. The key is to focus on the right people. Please those who truly matter. Those who value your honesty, your strength, and your uniqueness. Please those who see your heart and appreciate your effort, not those who only want to control you or use you. Because when you try to please the wrong people, you sacrifice your soul for nothing. But when you live to honor your truth, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. Another reason why people lose respect for those who try to please everyone is because it shows weakness. If you change your opinion every time someone speaks, if you bend your values just to avoid disagreement, people begin to think you have no backbone. And human nature is like this. People do not admire weakness, they admire strength. They may smile at you when you agree with them all the time, but deep down, they will not respect you. They will see you as someone who can be manipulated. So, what should you do instead? The answer is simple but powerful. Live by your values. Be authentic. Speak your truth with kindness. It is okay if people disagree. It is okay if some people walk away. It is better to be respected by a few for who you truly are than to be liked by many for who you are not. Remember this: agreement is temporary, but authenticity is eternal. In the end, trying to please everyone is a kindness that destroys you. It drains your spirit, weakens your character, and steals your respect. But living authentically, being kind without losing yourself, helping without betraying your values, this brings both peace and respect. People may not always agree with you, but they will look at you and know, this person is real. And that, my friend, is worth far more than fake approval. Final words. True kindness is strength. My dear friend, kindness is one of the greatest powers you can carry in this world. It has the ability to heal, to inspire, and to connect people. But here is the truth you must never forget. Kindness only shines when it is guided by strength. If your kindness comes from fear, from insecurity, or from the need to be liked, people will disrespect you. They will see your kindness not as a gift, but as a weakness to be used. However, if your kindness comes from self-respect, from confidence, and from clear boundaries, people will admire you deeply. They will value your kindness because they know it is real. So, remember these lessons we walk through together. Do not always say yes because your time and energy are precious. Do not forgive too quickly because forgiveness must come with responsibility. Do not always put others first because you cannot give from an empty heart. Do not avoid conflict at all costs because silence often looks like agreement. Do not give without limits because even the strongest well can run dry. And do not live to please everyone, because when you try, you lose yourself. These are not rules of harshness. They are rules of wisdom. At English Achieve, we believe that learning English is not just about words. It is also about learning lessons for life. And this lesson is clear. Be kind, but also be strong. Be generous, but also protect your boundaries. Speak softly, but also know when to roar. When you live this way, your kindness will no longer invite disrespect. It will invite respect, love, and true happiness. Always remember this: your kindness is a precious gift. Protect it. Guard it. Share it wisely. Do not let anyone turn it into your weakness. Instead, let it shine as your strength.